going to whisper some things to you now about crunch chocolate bars, because apparently this whispering thing is a thing that makes you feel things. It's saying something crunchy is coming in the candy wrapper language. Imagine your tongue hiking up those crispy, rocky ridges. Now, drum roll, please.
Wow, that's good. Crunchy, munchy chocolate doesn't whisper.
Turn up the fun with Crunch.
Things change, but Deer Park Natural Spring Water is a constant you can count on, bringing you the essence of home for 150 years and counting. Sourced from carefully selected springs, Deer Park Natural Spring Water has naturally occurring electrolytes for a crisp, refreshing taste. Find Deer Park Natural Spring Water at your favorite local retailer today. After 150 years, there's only one thing left to say. Deer Park, that's still good water.
Welcome back, everyone, to a very special 50th episode of the Theatre Thoughts podcast. My name is Justin. If you are new to the podcast, welcome. If you're our returning listeners, welcome back to the podcast. So I'm currently live at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. As you're hearing this, I suppose I might be in London now, or I might be back in Australia, but at the time of recording, I'm in Edinburgh, and I'm experiencing the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. So for those of you who don't know what the Edinburgh Fringe Festival is, it's essentially a month-long festival that I guess the only thing I can compare it to is like the Glastonbury of theatre. So you have music, art, theatre, and that includes musicals, stand-up, absurdist comedy, improv, Shakespeare. Everyone comes to Edinburgh in terms of the artists in the world to put on new shows, do stand-up, try to get themselves known, get their work out there, get their work discovered, get their work reviewed, and hopefully kind of see where the life of their show and their performance and their art has after Edinburgh. So if you want to think about artists and names that have been discovered at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, think Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Think Fleabag, think Six the Musical, think The Play That Goes Wrong and Mischief Theatre. So that's just to name a few, I suppose, as well. So what I've got for you all to listen to is a bunch of artists who I met at a media night, where essentially they were there pitching their shows for different reviewers and media people to come and watch and review and write and promote. So I've got different conversations from each one of these amazing artists, just having a bit of a brief chat about their shows, so you can kind of get a bit of an idea of the flavour of some, and I mean just some of the shows that are available at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. Now, the reason I say some is because there are hundreds of shows for you to see. You could be there every single day and see a show every single day, and you would not have even scratched the surface of what is available to you. So please enjoy this very special 50th episode of the Theatre Thoughts podcast. I'm going to be coming back to premiere Season 3 at some point in the year. You may see a bit of a change in the style of the podcast as well as when it's going to come out, mainly because I'm endeavouring to involve our theatre thoughts within that. It's obviously the name of the podcast, but I also want to extend it to the different areas of performance. So this may include films and TV, as well as other different chats and theatre discussions around the idea of performance and art itself. Thank you once again, and please enjoy.
So my name is Megan. I'm the current president of the Oxford Bells, which is Oxford's original all-female and non-binary a cappella group. And we were established in 1995 to try and combat the male-dominated a cappella scene at Oxford.
Very good. And so your show is Accating Out,
yes.
Which I love the name. It's very a cappella, very much pitch perfect, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So what makes you stand out from like the rest?
So we only sing female written and produced songs for a starting point. We also have killer choreography, a lot of sass. We come from Oxford University and Oxford Brookes University, and we're an incredibly diverse group of people, from international students, people from the UK, people from minority backgrounds. We kind of represent every woman, I would say, or at least every woman who likes to sing or listen to some singing.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Amazing. And so you started the Fringe, well, by the time everyone listens to this, you'll have done the run. But what's something you're really looking forward to with this run at the Fringe?
I can tell you a very specific moment in our show that I'm going to look forward to every single time, and that's after our bow. We always do a little huddle at the end of our show, and I think it's there's this element, especially within singing and amongst women, that there's always this sense of competition. We don't audition for solos in our group, as opposed to a lot of other a cappella groups have one soloist throughout. We have a spreadsheet, and we make sure everybody has the exact same amount of solos, because we bring people in because we are obsessed with their personality and also their voice, believe it or not. And so we kind of, in that moment when we huddle up, are able to share in that like feminine joy that kind of comes with the lack of competitiveness and the lack of sort of vying for the attention on stage. And yeah, just celebrate an amazing run, fingers crossed.
That's so good. Yeah, I'm very excited for you. I'm hoping I can get to see it while I'm here. That's great.
Amazing.
Well, I'll ask you a couple of Theatre Thoughts questions that
Absolutely.
I can kind of like piece together. So my first one is, what's the best production you've seen recently?
At Fringe?
Just in general, I guess.
Ooh. So I saw a play up here called Four Felons and a Funeral last week when I was up here with TikTok. And the show was basically about the premise of these four friends, or not quite friends, kidnap their friend's Ashes, who was unfortunately very sick because him and his family didn't get along very well, and they take the Ashes on this road trip to try and pour them in a vat of Guinness at the Guinness factory.
That sounds great.
And it was amazing. It was hilarious. It was a musical. It was everything you could possibly want from a piece of musical theatre, and I really enjoyed it, and I really hope that they make it big somehow.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And,
Of course.
All the best.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Jessica Muna, and my show is called Pieces of Us. It is a metamodern, socio-political, verbatim-style show in which an American artist interviews 5 of her fellow citizens about grief in the 21st century.
Excellent. And you're going up at the Fringe, well, this week at the time of recording, but
Yes.
Who knows when people listen to it.
Yeah.
And what are you most excited for? We're bringing this to the Fringe.
I think I'm really excited to talk with people about it. I think this might sound kind of silly, but I lost my dad when I was 12.
Oh, right.
And so I think about this kind of stuff, like what's the meaning of life all the time. And so many of my decisions I've made in my life were informed by that experience. And so funnily enough, death plays is a term I keep hearing thrown around a lot this Fringe.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of plays about grief and those kinds of questions, and I'm just excited to talk about it. Finally, people want to talk about it with me,
Do you
because
think
for the last 20
that's
years.
Do you think that's a result of like COVID?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And for me, it sounds terrible, but I was like, finally, everyone knows what I'm talking about. God.
Share my pain.
Well, it's not even the pain, but like, yeah, it's crazy, right? Life is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And for the last 20 years, it's just been me, and everyone's like, no, it's normal. Do you want to go to the pub? And I'm like, no, it's crazy. What are you talking about? So for me, it's like, finally, I feel like, I don't know, it's just something I think we can talk about. So I'm really excited to share it with people, and I'm really excited to talk with people about it after, because I think the topic itself is important.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
And interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think like making that more just like socially acceptable to talk about, I think is really nice.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I was saying to you out there, something that I think a big thing that this play is about is it's within the context of American capitalism. So in a context of capitalism where quarterly profits constantly have to go up, or resources in some weird imaginary world of some person, resources never run out. But that isn't Earth.
Yeah.
And so this notion of constant growth, constant profit, more, it's not sustainable. And but so we end up having to live our lives in that way. And would we have a better quality of life if we created space to talk about grief and really contemplate it? Would we cherish life more? Would hope have more meaning if we allowed ourselves that space to look at something that is actually quite natural?
Yeah. No.
And even beautiful.
And you speak about it so eloquently as well, so you've
Thank
clearly
you.
thought about it.
I've clearly thought about it a lot.
Excellent.
I mean, I'll tell you, this is a bit of a non sequitur. It's sort of related to the show, but so when my dad passed away, I received flight benefits from his employer.
Oh, right.
And so I decided to take a trip around the world to
Wow.
extend the length of his life.
Yeah.
And my father passed away, unfortunately, sort of at the hands of a for-profit American medical system.
Right, okay.
It was proven in malpractice litigation that he did not receive the treatment that he needed.
Right.
which is a result of capitalism.
Of
So,
course, yeah.
so I started traveling to sort of honor him, to remember him. This is what he left for me, and to extend the reach of his life. And I had gotten into a drama school when I was 20,
Yeah.
but I was like, well, I could do that, or I could do this, and it has been the most life-changing experience. And I was busking around the world and doing arts outreach and a lot of theater teaching in different parts of the world, cultural exchange, and I ended up winning a scholarship to study music
That's
and
great.
theater in South Africa, where I
Yeah.
met my partner.
Oh, lovely.
And I lived in South Africa for 5 years,
Yeah.
and he has British ancestry, and now I've been living in London for 6 or 7 years. So
That's
like
amazing.
it literally changed the course of my life.
Yeah, yeah.
Just by acknowledging the fact of that loss
Yeah.
in some way. I don't know. So for me, I feel like we can choose to give things beautiful meaning if we let ourselves actually take a moment to think about what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do, I understand. I love that. I think that's great.
The Dine Under menu is here for a limited time at Outback Steakhouse. Get an 18-ounce bone-in ribeye and our signature blend of 17 spices, Kingsland pasta, or juicy sirloin and lobster mac, starting at just $16.99. That's better than the actual Outback, where even if you caught dinner, you know deep down you couldn't do what needs to be done. Run free, little buddy. Run free. The Dine Under menu. It's better than the actual Outback. Starting at $16.99 for a limited time at Outback Steakhouse. Outback. No rules, just right.
Things change, but Deer Park Natural Spring Water is a constant you can count on, bringing you the essence of home for 150 years and counting. Sourced from carefully selected springs, Deer Park Natural Spring Water has naturally occurring electrolytes for a crisp, refreshing taste. Find Deer Park Natural Spring Water at your favorite local retailer today. After 150 years, there's only one thing left to say. Deer Park, that's still good water.
I'm Holly. I'm the writer for my show, but I'm also doing producing with a friend. And my show is called Dazzling, and it's a one-woman show, and it's about love and art and addiction, and what that looks like when you're a very obsessive person. It's quite dark. It's very emotional and intense. It's very like intimate. It's very like confessional in style. It's sort of the actor is sat in the room and really like pours her heart out to you. There's a lot of crying and panic attacks and that sort of thing. But I think it's also funny. There are like kind of Fleabaggy moments of
Love
like
it. It's a recurring thing at the Fringe. now,
everyone was
the
about to
Fleabaggy
say
situation.
no, everyone
Yeah.
wants to be Phoebe Waller-Bridge. So
Yeah.
whenever I say that, I'm like, but you take it with a pinch of salt, you know.
I saw her speech at the Fringe. Literally, like I was watching it on social media, and I was
Oh my
like,
God.
I cannot believe she started her show.
Yeah.
here. That is like insane to me. I'm like, I'm in the same space.
Yeah.
That her show has
I was
touched.
kicking myself that I didn't get here like a week earlier. So I would have been in the same space as her, and I would have just been like,
Yeah, she was
Dead.
everywhere. She saw every show.
Yeah, she was doing flyering, wasn't she?
flyering.
Yeah, she was
there's a
actually
video,
out doing
yeah.
flyering.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, no! I just kept seeing her in like there was a show that I was following on Twitter that was another one-woman show, and like this became like a huge thing. So
Oh, okay.
I think they were doing like it's like a, I don't know if it's a play or a stand-up show. I didn't actually know that much about the show, but they posted on Instagram and they were like, oh, it was really sad because I only had one person in my audience
Oh
today.
no, I've seen this.
Yeah, and they
I've
were like,
seen this.
but they brought their friend along.
I've got a funny story. So when we were on the mile last year, so we did On Wednesdays Wear Maroon, and we sold pretty well. So it meant that we had a lot of people come up to us and ask us what we were doing to sell well. And one of them was this woman.
Yeah.
So she was literally flying next to us on the mile, and her show sounded insane. Like it sounded like a really good thing. So we all went to
okay.
see it obviously last year. But I just remember her, she had the same problem last year, and I don't think she managed to fill the seats.
Right.
But she brought the same show back.
Yeah.
And she posted that thing, and it went viral, obviously.
Yeah, and then she sold out like every show or something like that.
But I think she did for a while, because I was following her for a while afterwards. I think she sold out for like a week, and then
Yeah.
people started to forget, and she was like, guys, I think the Phoebe Waller-Bridge thing is going to die down.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
so cool. Would you want to talk about your show as well?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Alicia. I'm the marketing manager, and I'm also the president of my group. So I've been like putting together all of the leaflets and the flyers and the shirts and stuff. So you're going to see us in bright purple on the mile. So we're a collegiate a cappella group from the University of Bristol, and we put together an a cappella comedy jukebox musical, a lot of words, I know, which is a spin-off of Friends. So it's the whole concept of, were we really on a break?
Yeah.
So like we've had a year-long hiatus, and there's been a lot of secrets that have been kept, like hidden relationships. Somebody might have joined another a cappella group behind our backs. So it's very messed up. But I think the audience kind of finds out a bit better than we do, and then there's a massive conflict, and how do we solve it? A riff-off. So it's very pitch perfect, and it's just very fun. So it's like a light-hearted comedy. We don't really have a demographic. We basically just appeal to everybody, which is nice. And we found that last year we literally had like people of all ages, all interests coming to the show, which was really cool. So yeah, we're here for 2 weeks at 2:35 at Nidri Street.
And what's the best thing about the Fringe, in like your opinion, I guess?
I mean, like exactly what we were saying outside, like there are so many opportunities to meet like-minded individuals, have really interesting conversations, and just like have conversations with people that you wouldn't generally have. And like obviously we're doing this press thing right now, but the most interesting thing is just hearing people's stories. And like it's important to get a reviewer, it's important to have people come to your show, but when are you gonna have these conversations that are like the reason why you started, and like empower you to want to carry on doing it and do something in the future? So I just think it's cool that we get to have these opportunities. Like who cares if your show breaks even and does all this stuff? Like you learn from your experiences and the stories you get to tell. So
That's lovely. Well said as well.
Yeah, that's so good. I literally agree with all of that. Like, like the whole, like, no, not the whole reason I'm here, but like, I think I've just found that like, so I've only, our show hasn't started yet. Sorry, I thought they said Holly, and that's my name. So hello.
Who, me?
I'm here. I completely lost my. I feel like the days that I've been here for like 3 days ish, and like the whole time I just feel like I'm buzzing. It's like just the atmosphere of being around.
Constantly.
And you like see like the people flying, and you're like, I get you. Like I've been there. Like we're doing the same thing right now. It's just I mean it's exactly the same thing. Kind of having the opportunity to meet people who like as soon as you meet them there's like something to say that you're like immediately interested in, and you're like,
well, this is my first year reviewing the Fringe. I haven't reviewed the Fringe before, so like just being like on the other side instead of just an audience member to like be serving a sort of purpose. I think it's fascinating.
People see the lanyard and they're like, oh god,
I got to start taking off because these guys got me in Primark, and they were just like, oh, by the way, we got a show. I was like, great, thanks.
Bye.
Are you an independent or are you with a company?
No, independent.
Yeah. Does that mean, well, I guess there's only one of you, so do you struggle a bit with like choosing shows?
Yeah, very much so, because I'm only here till Wednesday, and then I've got like, I was here from Friday, so I had, how many can you see in a day, essentially?
I've heard most people are doing about 3-4 a day.
Yeah, I did 4 yesterday.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't know how, I was saying this to someone earlier, like I feel like as a reviewer there's I mean you can, for me if I go and see 4 shows in a day, it's like I can kind of like relax through them. I'm like, oh yeah, whatever, like I'm kind of tired, but like fine. But like I think it takes so much energy for each one being like, I've got to come up with something to say.
You got to think about what to say.
The same thing in 50 different ways.
Right? I get my thesaurus out.
Oh my god. And like I just didn't realize how much work goes into writing a review. So it's cool to see the behind the scenes, because I've never seen that before in my life. So it's cool to hear your guys' perspective.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for all the best with the show.
Thank you. Yeah, lovely to meet you.
Hi, my name's Arista, and I'm a part of Fruit Bowl Theatre Company, and I am the Assistant Director, Choreographer and Co-Writer of Losing the Plot, a brand new jukebox musical. And we're basically a musical written by students, devised by students, performed by students, and officially teched by students, which is interesting. And it's all songs from the 80s, including The Final Countdown, Tainted Love, Take On Me, and a lot of really great hits that will brighten up your day. We're on at 9:55 a.m. The show is an hour long, and we're at Nidri Street from the 14th to the 19th.
And so this is your first time at the Fringe
First time at the Fringe. All of our first time at the Fringe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
None of us have ever been before, and even Edinburgh. I've never been to Edinburgh before.
Right.
It's crazy being here.
So what's the vibe for you? Like, what's the feelings you have?
So I'm originally from London, but I've been at uni in Manchester for a year.
Okay.
So this honestly feels more like home. It's very like city vibes, and I visited a few cathedrals today. I've been doing a bit of sightseeing, planning on climbing Arthur's Seat soon.
It's great.
I'm really excited. I want to do it at sunset.
It's a big walk.
Oh yeah, not the these boots.
No, I know.
But yeah, I'm really excited to do more of the touristy stuff because I have a lot of friends who go to uni here, so I made them send me big lists of things to do. And I've seen a couple shows already as well, which has been really nice.
What's your favourite?
Oh, I saw a improvised comedy today. It was like, I think it was called Film Club, I think.
Okay.
And it was really, really interesting because they basically asked the audience to like pick films and then just like improv'd all this stuff. And I always find improv so
it's
impressive.
fascinating, isn't it?
Honestly, like, because our show was like created through improv, but the actual thing isn't. Well, sometimes it's improv, but it's not supposed to be improv most of the time.
Work on your toes.
But I think it's just so cool and so impressive, and I really want to see that improvised musical as well. Like, it's really fun flyering actually, because like the exchanges you get and like the different shows that you hear about, like I genuinely want to go see a lot of them.
Yeah.
So it's really nice.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I guess where did the idea for this come from as well?
So it originated as a part of Manchester's Musical Theatre Society, and so we were given the brief of people that are trying to write a musical, which is of course quite a basic one, but we've come a long way with it. And we basically applied for different positions. So I applied for the assistant director position. I was first year, it was second semester, I had no idea what I was getting into, and somehow I got it, which was really exciting. And then I met the director, who is now one of my very close friends, and we basically like pitched different characters initially and like thought about like how they might get on, how they would interact, like different like romantic interests, like clashes, and like how people like work together. And of course, like we're all creators, we have so much experience like trying to write things, trying to create together. So it was actually came
like
together.
Shared experiences.
Yeah, quite easily. And it was, I remember we were writing it over Christmas time, so a lot of it was over Zoom.
Yeah.
Which somehow feels quite normal at this point.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Feels a bit like home now. But so we like wrote it sort of like calling over Zoom and like just like basically like mind dumping onto the page until something good came out. And then we took the show, so we did that at the Manchester Student Union, got really good reviews, sold out audiences, was a lot of fun. And then we decided we want to take it to the Fringe because we thought like it's a comedy, it's silly, it's short, it's queer, it's camp, it's so much fun. So it's basically the perfect thing for the Fringe, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah,
kind of fits all right in there.
Exactly. So we were like, why not? And it has been a lot of work being on the creative side of it. Like all of the admin and everything has definitely been a little bit intense. And also because we did it independently, like formed our own theatre company and had to do it all by ourselves basically. But so worth it because now we're here, we've done it finally. And we open tomorrow morning.
Amazing.
Which is really exciting. Thank you.
And all the best with it
I'm
as well.
really, really
Fingers crossed
excited.
I can see it.
Yeah, I really hope so. Tomorrow morning's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
I feel like the adrenaline of the first night is always lovely.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I felt the first morning even.
Yeah,
I kept saying when I was flying, it was like opening morning.
Coffee.
Literally 9:55, coffee on the house.
Excellent.
But yeah.
Cool. You've been listening to the Theatre Thoughts podcast. Follow us on Instagram at Theatre Thoughts AUS or on our podcast Instagram at TTPod_official. Follow the link in our bio for all of our episodes from Season 1, Season 2, and I'll see you for Season 3 here on the Theatre Thoughts podcast.
Have you ever wondered how your favorite performer actually feels? Well, here's your chance. Welcome to The Quiet Part Out Loud with me, Bobby Steggert, Broadway actor and now a therapist to a whole host of Broadway creatives. Part interview, part therapy, this is not your typical podcast. We'll go right to the heart of things with some of your favorite artists, what they still struggle with, what lessons they've learned, what they haven't figured out yet. There's enormous power in saying the quiet part out loud. Are you listening?
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.